So, we bought a boat. No, not that one. That one.
I'm Christina, and that was Nate. And that right there is our 1980 Rafiki 35. Before buying Mischief Managed, we had never been sailing in our lives. Now join us as we learn to sail and go all in as we chase our dreams.
Okay, we're rolling.
So this video, episode 2, is a little different than the one we recorded earlier in the day where we were all excited about our new boat.
Yeah.
So we learned what not to do, and we know what our boat can handle now.
101 ways not to learn how to sail.
So we'll be inserting video throughout this little explanation about what went down today.
We took off. It was fine.
Yeah, it was really nice and calm in the channel here in Duluth, Minnesota
Between Superior and Duluth.
to get out to Canal Park. We were just chilling on the deck. We were making good
6.5 knots.
Yeah, which is good for our boat. We had the mainsail and the headsail out. It was going really well. Mistake number 1, it was calm. Gave us a false sense of security. So we didn't have our life jackets on. Really stupid. I'm kind of embarrassed about that.
Yep.
Our 16-year-old was sitting up in the very front of the boat. Like she usually does until she gets tired and goes and sleeps. Because it was nice and calm water. So we were getting close to the lift bridge.
It was a little bumpy, but nothing that this boat can't handle.
Right. On
an easy day.
So to get out of the canal out onto Lake Superior, there's the lift bridge, and it goes up and down every half hour. You call it, and they lift it if someone's coming through. So we put our sails down because we're going to be going right into the wind, and the bridge is going up. We're going under. I do have video of that. As soon as we turn to make that corner and start going under that bridge, we knew we were in trouble. But at that point, we can't turn around.
No.
And
been sideswiped by all the waves coming in.
It was like a washing machine. I mean, at first, right at the bridge, they weren't too bad.
2-footers, 3-footers.
We were just kind of laughing.
Stuff we've been out in before.
Yeah. We were like, oh, haha, funny. But then suddenly it turned, they got bigger. And then we're like, oh crap.
And progressively got bigger as you went closer and closer to
yeah. And at this point, I'm looking, my daughter is up in the front and she's hanging on for dear life. And
insert video here.
Yeah. I had video before they got too big where her legs were getting dunked in the water and she's hanging on. And then I'm like, okay, I need to go and I need to bring her life jacket. So I grabbed her life jacket, I grabbed my life jacket, grabbed his, and I have to get up to there. And then the waves got bigger.
Yeah.
She, sitting on the front, got dunked up to here. Got her life jacket, helped her strap in without moving her because we were too afraid to move her without a life jacket on.
Right. That's good move.
Yeah, my mama instincts. I'm looking at the front of the boat going, oh crap, I need to save my daughter. I really don't think I would have been able to save her. She went overboard, but I probably would have tried.
6-7 foot waves at that point.
Yeah, they were.
And we weren't out even in the lake yet.
Yeah, and we couldn't turn around. We were thinking, oh crap, we're going to get on this lake and they're going to be huge. But we can't turn around. The canal's too narrow. I'm sure everyone on shore, because the canal's lined with tourists.
And a lot of people were videoing us.
Yeah, there probably will be videos somewhere on the internet of us being really stupid. So embarrassed. I can't even tell you how embarrassed I am about this.
So there's a new rule. You don't go on deck
without a life jacket.
End of story. If you want to go
I
up
don't
on
care
deck,
if it's
you have a life
calm
jacket.
water.
At least next to you, if nothing else.
Yeah. The other thing is, I forgot to close the port windows.
Port cover, or porthole covers, yeah.
And the boat was getting swamped by these waves. Now, mind you, my daughter was sitting on the front, and she was getting swamped up to here in water, holding on for dear life before I got to her and I was able to pull her back into the cockpit. So all that water went in our front windows.
And the sides.
And the side windows.
And the hatches were closed at that point, though.
Yeah, I did close the hatches before we went under the bridge.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I was dealing with the mainsail. We're sitting on a wet bench right now, on a towel. I don't have my pants. My pants are sopping wet. My shoes are wet. I'm wearing his extra shorts.
Yep, I planned ahead.
Yeah, thankfully, because I didn't. So everything is drying out between now and next week. Next week we might not be going sailing. We'll get to that in a minute. So we get out of the canal and the waves are huge right at the entrance there.
You have the St. Louis River dumping into Lake Superior, so you have that current.
Everything's funneled.
You have the wind literally coming the direction right up the canal.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because the way the lake is shaped, it points to Duluth. So all the wind funnels even faster, causing the waves to just build, and build.
And they were cresting, and it was...
We were out in Whitecaps on that lake already once.
Yeah, these were
that
big
wasn't
ones.
bad.
These were...
But there were some waves that were 8 to 10 feet. There's no way they weren't. And
This is a 35-foot boat.
Right. And when you got a wave of water coming at you, you kind of pucker a little bit.
Mackenzie and I were hanging on to hands in the cockpit at this point.
And you were crying.
And I was crying. Not ashamed to admit that.
I think I still had a shit-stained grin on my
Not
face.
everyone was safe. He was like... yeah.
I felt alive. I wanted to live.
So, at this point, we had a half hour before the bridge would go, it would go back up again.
Yeah.
And we can't go further out on the lake. We can't sit in the canal. So...
Because the waves would push us into the bridge. And we
Right.
don't want that on the news.
Yeah, that would...
That was on the news last year for somebody else.
Yeah. So, we're doing loops right off the point there in these 8 to 10 foot waves in our 35-foot boat, hanging on for dear life.
We weren't really hanging on for dear life.
You weren't. I was.
I was just concentrating on hitting the waves the correct way and
Yeah.
turning around. And
I do have some video because I did have the canal cam up streaming on my phone, and I did screen record off of that while we're sitting in the cockpit of us doing some loops out there. And he does on his Navionics has the track that we took.
I don't think I ever took a picture of it yet, but I should.
Yeah, insert that here.
Yeah.
Because it really is just us like figure eighting and going all over the place.
I should have made like a dick symbol or something out there.
So we're calling the bridge. We're like, yeah, Mischief wants to come back in. You know, we did the whole thing that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, so we're coming back in at 4 o'clock left.
Okay, they're probably like, oh, yeah, we knew you'd be back
Yeah.
in. They probably should have warned. Like, do you really want to go out there? Yeah. So it gets close to that time, and we're like, okay, is the bridge going up yet?
It's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock, we're like lining up to go back into the canal and deal with that washing machine of water again. And I'm seeing people walking across the bridge. He's like, has it started digging yet? I'm like, there's people on the bridge. We don't have time to do another loop. So we're heading that way. And we're like, okay, we need to the bridge needs to be up.
Yeah, I called on the radio. I basically said, I need the bridge up.
I'm sure he thought, and insert video here. Again, our boat was doing this at the head of the canal.
And I was idled back as far as I dare.
Yeah.
So I still had some steering control, but yeah.
Finally, he's like, yeah, and just shortly here. And they got everyone off the bridge, and then they started putting it back up, and we cruised right under, and I do have video of that too. But yeah, our boat was doing one of these, and it didn't feel like it was doing it as much on the way back in. We were kind of surfing, like literally surfing the waves in.
Yep.
so it was a lot better. We weren't slapping it every time we hit a wave.
I wasn't worried about bodying out in the canal. It's 30 foot deep.
It was bad.
Because it was bad.
It was bad.
We learned a lesson.
So then we get under and we're in the channel now. And of course it's calmer. We're like, okay, we have, you know, a couple miles before we hit the marina. So we're going to put our mainsail up and, you know, ride some wind in. And this sail ripped. Yep.
Cut it out and stay.
Mm-hmm. So fortunately it's right along a seam and it looks like just it just gave way right there. I mean, it should be an easy fix.
Yeah. Maybe expensive, we'll see.
Yeah, we're not quite sure yet. None of the sail shops are open in the area.
Episode 3.
Yeah. So Monday, that's my chore. Monday morning after working a 12-hour night shift is to call and see what that's going to run us.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
And how long before we can get it? Because we
Yeah.
need to start getting the boat ready to go up
north.
to Silver Bay.
Yeah. So hopefully that's not. I mean, it doesn't look like a hard repair. If we weren't as green, we might be able to do it ourselves, but I
Our
don't wanna
neighbor in the
risk it.
marina, he stitches his own sails, but
I think we'd rather just, and then they can look it over, and if there's any other areas,
that are fraying or whatever,
then they can do it.
reinforce them before
Yeah.
it happens again.
I'm not really surprised. This is a 1980 Rafiki, and it's the original
It's the original sail.
mainsail. So, I mean, it's lasted a long time, and it's still in really good shape. It just gave way there. So,
Because I wasn't watching and the halyard was stuck
And-
around
and he
his
got
rudder,
seasick.
and I did throw up because I was looking up. I
Uh-huh.
can handle 10-foot seas just fine, but if I look up, it doesn't work so well.
yeah, and then he threw up on the halyard line.
Well, I threw up on the deck and the halyard line was in the way.
Mm-hmm. So then he's like,
I'm done.
Chris, you have to take over. So we swapped places. And guess what I had to hang on to finish wrapping everything up? Yeah. It was not a great day. We learned a lot though. I mean, our boat can handle a lot. So, I mean, there's that.
I didn't feel unsafe in those waves. I think.
You didn't, but you weren't up on deck like Mackenzie and I
Well,
were.
that was your own belt. But
Well,
I think if we were all in the cockpit originally,
it wouldn't have been as bad.
and we had, because in there you have stuff to hang on to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get as wet.
Mm-hmm.
And had we had the head sail up to help kind of stabilize the back and forth, I think we would have been
Yeah,
a lot better shape.
we were against the wind at that point though, so we wouldn't have been able to have the headset
In the
going
canal,
up
we would have been
the
screwed.
canal.
But when we were out even in the bigger seas, I think it would have been better because once I got the boat at a 45 to the waves, and we were still making headway.
Right.
It wasn't
If
like
we
were
weren't trying
backtracking.
to turn around and come back in. I mean, we
Right.
couldn't. There's no way we could have had anything up while trying to do figure eights and stuff
No.
right there. But we probably could have taken off and gone in the superior entrance.
Yeah, I would have been okay doing that, but I saw the look on your face, so that said enough.
Yeah.
It was time to turn
I
around
was shaking a little bit
and crying.
and crying. And then laughing
And
because it
laughing.
was ridiculous. Like the whole scenario was just absolutely ridiculous.
Especially when you're coming in, Mischief managed.
Yeah. We earned our name today.
So,
Yeah. So lesson learned. And now we have more repair work to do.
yay.
Yay. So that's it for episode 2.
Bye.